The sixth aliyah. This aliyah, amongst a few other inyanim, if you look through the aliyah, you'll see it's all about animals that are permitted, prohibited for consumption, allowed to eat, not allowed to eat. It includes behemot, domesticated animals, wild animals, chayot, ofot, birds, fish, even different grasshoppers that are mutar and asur. The Ramban says if you pay attention, you'll see that all the animals that are mentioned over here, or most of them at least that we can relate to, are the ones that are mutar, are not predators, and the ones that are asur and prohibited for consumption are animals that are predators, wild animals and animals that have a harsh nature. So therefore the Ramban explains that the Torah, when it told us what's mutar to eat and what's asur and prohibited to eat, the ones that they commanded of not to eat are the ones that have the cruel nature. The ones that have a cruel nature is in order for us not to absorb their cruel qualities, because we are what you eat. And therefore, the Torah says that when you ingest food, ingest it from an animal that has better nature than the crueler ones. Now, most of us probably know that in order for a behemah or a chaya or an off to be permitted for consumption, it needs to have shchita, as opposed to a fish that doesn't need to have shchita. And in order for a behemah, in order for an animal including a behemah and a chaya, domesticated and a non-domesticated animal, it has to have two simanim. And those two simanim are that it has to chew its cud, meaning when it ingests and it eats, it brings it back up, chews it again, brings it back down to its stomach, re-chews it back and forth, back and forth. That's chewing its cud. It's called ma'ale gera in the pasuk. And mafris parsa. Mafris parsa means that its hoofs, its legs, doesn't have a single hoof like a horse, for example. Rather, it's split in the middle, totally split, and that's a split hoofs, and that makes it kosher. Now, if you pay attention in this aliyah, you'll see that the Torah does mention a number of animals, 4 animals, that only have one of the two simanim, one of the two symbols to make an animal kosher, and therefore they are unkosher. And the Torah says that who are they? And the Torah says the first one is the gamal, the camel. Second one is the shafan. Third one is the arnevet, and the fourth one is the chazir. The first 3, gamal, shafan, and arnevet, those 3 have one of the two. Which one of the two? They chew their cud. They chew, they bring it back up, chew it again, they swallow it, bring it back up, they swallow it. That's the gamal, shafan, and arnevet. The gamal is the camel, shafan they call hyrax, and arnevet is the rabbit or the hare, and the chazir, of course, is the pig. The last one, the chazir, does not chew its cud. Once it swallows, but it does have split hooves. And the Torah says that these are the only ones that exist, the only animals that exist in the whole world from beginning of time to the end of time that have one of the two signs are these 4. You'll never find another animal that has one of the two. There are many other animals that have been found since the time the Torah was given over 33 centuries ago. Many animals have been found that we didn't know about them necessarily, that they both chew their cud and have split hooves and therefore are kosher. Or they don't have split hooves and they don't chew their cud and therefore unkosher. But the Torah mentions the only 4 that will ever exist from the beginning of time to the end of time that have one of the two are these 4. Gamal, arnevet, shafan, and chazir. First 3 have the ma'ale gera, which means they chew their cud, and the last one, the chazir, has split hooves but did not chew its cud. It's an amazing proof that the Torah is emet, for the fact that it was said without any shade of a doubt that there will be no other animal that will come into existence that you'll see that will have one of the other. But that's the confidence that the Torah has, that emet is emet. And once it's emet, you're not scared to say the truth because it won't change. Regarding fish, the Torah says that it has, in order to be kosher, it has fins and scales. The fins are the fins that help it move around the side, and the scales are the little dots around that you see on the fish, which doesn't need a hechshed. Once you see those scales, you know that one that has scales always has fins. As the Gemara says in Masechet Nida, Daf Nun Aleph Amud Bet, the Gemara says in Masechet Nida that all fish that have scales automatically have fins. But ones that have fins don't necessarily have scales. And just like the animals that have one out of the two simanim is a proof that Torah shebechtav is emet, so too we can say that there's a proof that Torah shebaal peh is emet, because the Gemara says over there, Masechet Nidah, that any fish that you'll ever find from the beginning of time to the end of time that has scales, you know that it has fins as well. And one that has fins doesn't necessarily have scales. In other words, you'll never find, we can be confident to say that we'll never find any fish that has scales, that just has those scales, but don't have fins. So that's again the manifestation that Torah shebaal peh is emet. Have a great day.